You're watching my fantasy football week 2 rankings and bold predictions video. Let's go. What's going on, Couch fam? Welcome to another weekly rankings video. I'm going to be doing these every Thursday. By the way, make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you got bell notifications turned on so you don't miss awesome videos like this one, my waiver wire videos, and awesome live streams. Let's go on to the quarterback rankings for week 2. All right. I think Mahomes is the real deal. I got a comment not too long ago on social media saying that this Chiefs offense was going to be better, and I didn't really believe it. I thought, losing Tyreek Hill, he blows the top off the defense. He's so fast. He's such a good deep threat. But it might be true. I think Andy Reid and Mahomes, they just gel more together. They're more comfortable. We've seen Mahomes struggle a little bit here and there because they were going for the home run play every single play. And Andy Reid adjusted and Mahomes got better. And now that they got guys like Juju, and of course they got Kelsey, they got Isaiah Pacheco, they're just using an array of guys, and defenses seem to always be one step behind or focusing on trying to stop one thing when the Chiefs do the number 2 thing or number 3 thing. So I think they're always going to be a step ahead of the defense. Now, the Raiders D did not play well. The Chargers D is significantly better. But if that pass rush doesn't get to Mahomes, there's nothing you can really do against Mahomes. So he is my number 2 quarterback. Of course, Josh Allen is number 1. No analysis needed there. As far as a lot of questions have been about Trey Lance, Carr, some Stafford. I think Stafford's elbow is fine. I just think the Rams offense, the coach, and Stafford played really carelessly. Expect them to bounce back. Now, most teams, actually, even though if they have the lead, they still throw the ball into the third quarter. So once the teams have a significant lead, they'll start to run the ball, but that's typically in the fourth quarter. As opposed to teams that are playing from behind and really need to catch up, they'll throw the ball all 4 quarters and start ramping up the passes in the third quarter. Like, hey, we need to catch up. We're throwing anyway. Let's just throw it some more. And a team like the Rams, who are pretty much a one-dimensional team, they're going to throw the ball all 3 quarters, maybe even the fourth quarter. We know how this offense works. Matthew Stafford is a gunslinger. Sean McVay says go for it all. So I think Stafford's going to go off. Whoever's playing in the slot, maybe Allen Robinson gets some snaps at slot. I think he will. He should have a bounce-back game. Stafford should have a bounce-back game. He should do very well. As far as Trey Lance, I would start him if you don't have a great option. Now, I'd probably start Tom Brady over Trey Lance, but as of today, every single Buccaneers receiver is injured or quote-unquote injured. I don't know the status of Julio Jones, Godwin, nor Mike Evans, and those are the top 3 receivers on this team. Leonard Fournette seems to be fine, but we need to get more information. I'm recording this on Thursday. It'll likely be a lot more clearer tomorrow on Friday. So these are my quarterback rankings. And if you want to see the complete rankings and written and updated, go to fantasycouch.com/rankings. Again, fantasycouch.com/rankings. Let's move on to the running back position. And JT, man, he really showed up. He really showed us that he is the number 1 overall pick. Christian McCaffrey is going to get more involved in the offense. At least that's what the head coach at the Panthers wants. So we'll see that. Hopefully, maybe get some more receptions. We know he's taking Wednesdays off. He's trying to be more fresh. They're trying to keep him more fresh. We'll see what happens there. I also really like DJ Moore this game, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Saquon Barkley is fully back. How worried should you be about Eckler? I think just a little bit. I think a little bit of concern, just a tiny bit of concern is warranted, but I wouldn't hit the panic button. I definitely wouldn't do anything drastic. Just hold, start, and hope he does better. All right. So it's not really anything that against him that he sucks or anything like that. It's more so they need to get him more involved. They need to throw to him more, and I think they will. Now, DeAndre Swift, I would rank higher, but he is injured. There is an ankle injury. Seems to be absolutely nothing. He says it's nothing to worry about. I take his word for it, but I'm going to be conservative and rank him at 5. I mean, these are PPR rankings, by the way, and 5 is still pretty good. This should be a game where the Bengals do run the ball. They should destroy the Cowboys without Dak. And look, even with Dak, this team might be 500 at best, right? They might get 8 wins, 9 wins at best with Dak. Without Dak, it's going to be tough for this team to get any wins. Maybe they'll get 3 wins by the time Dak returns at most. Derrick Henry, he got a ton of carries week 1. I believe it was 21 carries. Got a lot of snaps, but 3.9 yards per carry, not good, and didn't get in the end zone. He is a little bit touchdown dependent in PPR leagues. Nick Chubb should have a great day against the Jets. Najee Harris does have a foot injury. I would be significantly more concerned about Najee Harris than Austin Eckler. This foot injury seems to be nothing. He says he's nothing. He's good to go. He's going to play, so on and so forth. But I am pretty worried. There's a little bit of mystery here, a little bit of concern. So, yeah, concern level is at a medium with Najee Harris if we got to measure it. A little bit less concerned with Alvin Kamara. Now, there is a rib injury, and maybe he does get suspended this year. Maybe a video does come out. There is this and that. But as long as he is healthy, he is going to be good. And the reason why he sucked last week was because of that rib injury. Now, Fournette, I think he's healthy. We might just rank him higher. At 12 is okay for him. I think Javonte Williams is going to go off. I'm ranking him as my 13 running back. I think A.J. Dillon is a really good safe start. Darrell Henderson, I think he'll put up the same amount of fantasy points as last week. Maybe get you like anywhere from 12 to 19 fantasy points against the Falcons. He should be pretty good. I think I'm going to talk about Cam Akers more on my podcast / live stream tonight on the second channel. A lot of drama going on there with the Cam Akers segment. We'll get back to that. And one guy I really did want to talk about is J.K. Dobbins. Now, I did avoid him this year. I told people, hey, I wouldn't take that risk if I was you. I'm still a fan of his. I'm still rooting for him. And he does have a path to success. So even me, who pretty much said to avoid him, I wasn't that harsh. Not really like a bust or a must avoid. But I'd say I'd rather not risk taking J.K. Dobbins. With that being said, I would probably start J.K. Dobbins if I did draft him. A full participant in practice 2 days in a row. He almost played week 1. Now, he will be eased in. So 10 carries, 11 carries, something like that is, I think, something what you need to expect, right? Because he was getting like 15 carries when he was healthy before in the past. So it's not going to be great. Dolphins defense is solid. Probably not going to be a shootout. Probably not a high scoring game. Maybe a medium scoring game at best. So I would start him if I have him. If it's a shallow league and you're stacked at running back, I would definitely start guys like Chase Edmonds or Cordell Patterson or definitely Darrell Henderson over J.K. Dobbins. I think a more serious question would be, do you start guys like Kareem Hunt, Zeke, Jeff Wilson, David Montgomery? That's a tough one, right? Low upside Montgomery, running back by committee, Jeff Wilson, Kareem Hunt, depending on the pass game. There's just so much here. And then super low upside Ezekiel Elliott. So I got him ranked here, but I'm telling you, it's pretty close. And J.K. Dobbins, RB 23. On this list. I still believe ETN will turn it around. I think he has a realistic shot of turning it around, but I'm going to be very conservative with him, and I'm probably going to, if I have him like in 4 leagues, which I probably do, I probably have him in 3 or 4 leagues, I'm probably benching him in half of them. I just want to be really conservative. I want to get that one game out of the way where he looks good, and like I said on the last live stream, I do think he looked good last week. And I know what you're thinking. Like, he looked horrible, but he actually looked good. He made a couple mistakes. He had the jitters, but he showed a lot of burst. He was faster than James Robinson. He looked very promising. He saw 4 targets before essentially being benched. So as long as he's more comfortable and he's catching the ball, watch out, because Travis Etienne could easily take over. But as of right now, J-Rob is the trustworthy, safe running back that everybody on that team trusts, including the coach. Etienne has to kind of work his way back, but it's expected. He's rusty. It's his first NFL game. He hasn't played football in a year, so we'll see if he can bounce back. As a lot of people know, he was a disappointment, and I was really, really bullish on Travis Etienne. Moving on to the wide receivers, and here we do have our bold prediction of the week, brought to you by Sleeper. I think Deebo Samuel is going to finish as the wide receiver 1 this week. That is my bold prediction. And even though I got this highlighted in red, it honestly means nothing. Yes, last year against Seattle, he put up 35.7 fantasy points. That was great. It's not really an indicator or nothing. And this isn't the point where he became a wide back or was used as a running back. He likes to call himself a wide back. That started a couple weeks later. So he was barely getting any carries. He was averaging like 1 carry a game up until this point, if that. So he did well against the Seahawks. He's going to be heavily featured. He's the number 1 guy. He's back. Eli Mitchell is hurt. The Niners don't have a lot of faith in their backup running backs. That's why they drafted one. And like Trey Sermon sucked. JaMychal Hasty's only good in preseason. So he's going to get a lot of carries. He's going to get a lot of looks. He's going to be heavily used. He has success against this team. So I think Deebo Samuel is going to be great. He's an absolute must start, of course. But I think he's going to be really good. There's some alarms going off, but I'm not stopping. We got to keep going. Okay, it stopped. So he is my number 1 wide receiver this week. Bold prediction of the week, brought to you by Sleeper. So you know what? I'm so bold that I'm not even going to be conservative with this. We're just going to put him here on the median rankings, on these conservative rankings. We're going to put him number 1. We're going to live life on the edge. Ooh, we're going to be a little frisky here. It has shown that I was almost, let's say I'm 80% right. I made a pretty good assessment, I would say. Let's say I'm like 75, 80% right on nailing this. When I said, look, all these wide receivers are interchangeable. I'm not reaching for any wide receiver in any of my leagues, except if you have a top 6 wide receiver. Well, you know, I kind of got a scapegoat with Dak getting hurt. Dak Prescott got injured. It wasn't top 6, CeeDee Lamb or better. It was top 5. It really showed that if you did secure a top 5 wide receiver with a top 15 pick, you did well. Justin Jefferson, if you had him, you won your league. If you had Adams, Diggs, Kupp, Chase, you likely won your league or got you really close to winning your league. So it was pretty important that you locked up one of these top 5 wide receivers. Not saying that you had to or anything like that, but what I'm saying is it was worth it. Now, CeeDee Lamb's not going to work out, but like I said, I got an excuse. Maybe I would have been wrong on it regardless. I did say he was risky, but now that Dak Prescott is hurt, I got a way out. I got a way out of that one. Not a lot of Cowboys are going to be doing good this year. So, yeah, these are my wide receiver rankings. Again, you can check them out at fantasycouch.com/rankings for the written version. Start Mike Williams with confidence. High-scoring game against the Chiefs. That's going to be kicking off here any second, Thursday night. Mike Evans is injured. Michael Pittman might be injured. Hollywood Brown, start with confidence. He let us down week 1, but if you draft him and Hopkins is still suspended, he's pretty much a must start. I'm losing a little bit of confidence. Well, the same level of confidence I had in Tua, I still have. DJ Moore, start with confidence. He should have a bounce back game. He didn't do well. I mean, he didn't do absolutely horrible or anything. He wasn't like Allen Robinson, but DJ Moore, he should do better. this game against the Giants. I'm still starting CeeDee Lamb if I have him. I have him as my wide receiver 19. Is that all I wanted to say? I guess I have Marcus Valdes-Scantling ranked. I guess kind of. I don't know. I might have him kind of high, kind of low. I don't know. He's a decent start. Again, this should be a high-scoring game. I would start Allen Robinson. I would start Juju. Darnell Mooney could be a bad start, actually. This one might. I have no idea how Darnell Mooney's going to do. This one's very tough to rank. I have no idea where to put him. I'm just going to put him like in a median place. Very scared of Darnell Mooney. I still like him this year, but against the Packers defense, the Packers D could be the best or worst. We don't know. Probably going to be closer to the best. They against the Bears, I think so. All right, let's move on to tight ends. Travis Kelce is tier 1 of 1, of course. I'm still starting Kyle Pitts. Some people are questioning him. I love Zach Ertz. If he's healthy or super close to 100% healthy, I highly suggest you start him. He could go off against the Raiders. I think he will go off against the Raiders. The tougher question really gets after Zach Ertz. For example, Dalton Schultz versus Gerald Everett. They're about tied. And Gerald Everett didn't get a lot of snaps, only got 4 targets, but Keenan Allen is out. I love Justin Herbert. I like Gerald Everett. Thank God I added him in my Dynasty League because I have George Kittle, and he is never healthy. Dawson Knox is a guy that, yeah, we're going to put him higher here. This is how I got. Yes, we're going to do this here. Cole Kmet is okay, low upside. Dawson Knox, and I've said this a million times, he's going to be good. He's talented. He has a great quarterback. He's going to be wildly inconsistent. I think he's going to be the most inconsistent, the most unpredictable tight end, and that is a knock, right? If you're trying to win a 1-week DFS tournament, that's great. Dawson Knox is your guy. But we're trying to win head-to-head matchups every week. Dawson Knox is going to be a pain. Moving on to defenses. I don't know why I get the most excited about defenses and kickers every video. It's just naturally who I am. What can I say? The Packers are the number 1 defense this week, though. Hello, yes. Going against the Bears. Niners are number 2, and these two I like pretty much equally. If you don't got one of these two, go for the Bengals or Browns. They're going to be great. And I think any of the top 8, this is where you really want to live this week. If you have one of these top 8 defenses, I would say you're in very good shape. The Bills, I don't absolutely love the matchup, by the way. But the Bills' defense has the most upside every week. They're going to get to the quarterback. They're going to make big plays. They're very scary. And they're very good. So no matter who they're playing, they'll always have the most upside. Like, we see a lot of downside with the Packers. They just didn't play defense well last week. They played it wrong. Niners D, huge disappointment last week. So there's a lot going on with these teams. And if you look at these two teams, one thing they have in common is that their quarterback sucked on the other side of the field. It does affect a lot. Okay? If your quarterback is playing well and being very efficient, your defense is going to do a lot better. It's just the way it works. And it almost always works like that. And we saw these two quarterbacks were pretty disappointing and put their teams in bad positions. Now, I'm not completely blaming the quarterback or anything. Just if you look at it for face value, the offense didn't do well, right? They got stuffed. They didn't get a lot of completions, a lot of missed plays. They didn't score a lot, so on and so forth. They just didn't help out the other side of the ball. The offense didn't help out the defense. Anyway, try to get one of these top 8, the Colts or better. I think they'll do fine. The Rams are super risky, by the way, but they're in my top 8 as well. So try to get the Colts, Broncos, Rams, Bills, Browns, Bengals, Niners, or Packers defense. Let's take a quick look at some more options here. All right, and let's move on to my favorite segment. Everyone's favorite segment, right? If you're part of the Couch family, this has got to be your favorite segment, right? Right. So I'm going to kind of do the same thing I did for defenses. What you want to do is kind of get top 7 to 8. I think top 7, you're pretty secured because Daniel Carlson offers that upside. Robbie Gould doesn't quite offer that. He's not going to be kicking as many attempts probably as Carlson, field goals and extra points combined. But Robbie Gould could definitely be kicker number 1, but it's going to have to be field goal, field goal, field goal, field goal, which is very likely. I'm just saying, I don't think the Niners offense will score a ton. They still have some woes. Their running back just got injured, which could have caused kind of a chain reaction last week, actually. So no starting running back, essentially a rookie quarterback who still needs to learn and grow more. So I like... Yeah, really the top 7. If you can get a top 7, I think you're in great shape. That's going to be Daniel Carlson, Cade York, McManus, Bass, Matt Gay, Evan McPherson, or Justin Tucker. And I kind of like them all equally. All these 7 guys are going to be great. If you can't get them, Robbie Gould, Suckup, Prater, those are decent options. After that, do whatever you want. It's kind of unpredictable. I got Dustin Hopkins here, but who's the kicker for the Chiefs? I totally forgot. Harrison Butker is out. Matt Amendola. Now, he could be great. So, Matt Amendola could easily be ranked number 11 here. Yeah, it's after the first 10, it's pretty wishy-washy. We have no idea what's going to happen. These rankings could go any which way, really. Yeah. So hopefully you can get a top 7 kicker. I think you can. I think you can easily get a top 7 kicker. People sleeping on kickers. And if you can't get a top 7 kicker, try to get a top 10. Matt Prater, he's like the Dawson Knox of kickers. So he's going to be really good. I think he'll have a great game against the Raiders. He's got a ton of upside. He sometimes misses kicks. That's bad. And he sometimes gets you like 1 freaking fantasy point. So keep that in mind. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel. Subscribe to our second YouTube channel, Fantasy Couch Podcast. We go live on there after every Thursday night football game. Fantasy Couch community is the best community. Couch fan for life. Let's go get that W this week. Don't worry if you got an L last week. Let's get that W this week. All right, guys. See you on the next.